Alfred McCoy, a historian at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and Alfredo Roses, a Filipino artist and writer, worked together to study political caricatures from the American period in the Philippines. They believed that cartoons were more than just drawings meant for entertainment. Instead, they served as a window into the politics, corruptions, and racial attitudes of that time. By analyzing these editorial cartoons, McCoy and Roses show how the media influenced public opinion and reflected social realities. Their work highlights that cartoons, despite being simple image, had the power to shape political debates, criticize leaders, and mirror society. Philippine cartoons political caricature of the American era, 1900s to 1941. The book by Alfred McCoy and Alfredo Roses compass influential political cartoons from 1900s to 1941, showing how satire reflected Filipino views during the shift from Spanish to American rule. More than just a humor, these cartoons expose issues like corruption, colonial control, and racial prejudice, while also capturing the responses of ordinary Filipinos. As a result, the collection serves as both social commentary and historical record of nations involving identity in a critical period of its history. The 1917 police scandal. The scandal demonstrated the influence of media in shaping public opinion and exposing corruption. Chuwas letter shook Manila's political scene, showing how gambling operation had deeply penetrated law enforcement. While the Free Press later withdrew its allegation, the case left a lasting impact on how people perceive both the police and the press, marking one of the most infamous scandals of the American colonial period. Cartoons as political commentary. Even after the Free Press withdrew its claims, other newspapers did not let the story fade. Vicente Soto's Independent in particular used editorial cartoons to insist that Chuwa's accusations were true. These cartoons became a way of keeping the issue alive in the public eyes. They often depicted the police turning a blind eye to illegal gambling, protecting clubs owned by politicians, or even directly taking bribes from Chinese gambling houses. The power of cartoons lay in their simplicity. Ordinary readers who might not follow long newspaper articles could immediately understand the message through image. In this way, cartoons work as the form of political commentary, exposing corruption and giving people a clear picture of what was happening in society. Fernando Amorsolo. Fernando Amorsolo's editorial cartoon illustrate both political corruption and the racial prejudice of the American period. While the Filipino policeman is drawn realistically, the Chinese figures were exaggerated into grotesque forms, reflecting how Chinese immigrants often linked to gambling and opium were scapegoated and dehumanized in media. Like many cartoons of the era, Amorsolo's works expose corruption, but also reinforce harmful stereotypes, showing how political cartoons could shape public opinion by blending social critique with a racial bias. New Bird of Prey. During World War I, Manila faced a housing and food crisis as soaring rents and prices pushed the working class into sudden poverty, sparking protests that reached Malacanang Palace. Governor General Harrison condemned land forgery and proposed capping rents at 12% of property value, but his response was more symbolic than transformative. The new Bird of Prey cartoon captured both the struggles of the poor and the growing power of mass protest in forcing colonial authorities to acknowledge social issues. The independent cartoon portrayed Governor Harrison as a hero of the poor, but in reality, his rent reform was very limited. By capping rent at 12% of property value, he provided only short-term relief that did little to address Manila's worsening housing crisis, rather than a genuine solution. His proposal functioned more as the political gesture to pacify unrest and project sympathy for the working class. What Harrison avoided was meaningful, long-term reform through public housing investment. Guided by liberal free-market ideals, he rejected the idea of state-funded welfare programs, leaving structural inequality intact. This highlights a broader weakness of colonial governance. Reforms often appeared progressive but were largely symbolic, maintaining systems that benefited the elite while offering the poor only temporary relief.